Okay guys, continuing on with our processing venison series that we're doing here. Now we're going to start working on making some homemade venison sausage. Now once again, you can get pork fat, and I've seen people use everything from bacon to lard to scraps of pork fat. There's many different things out there that you can do, and there's a ton of different spices that you can add to suit your own palate and what you enjoy doing. But here's the way I do it most of the time, and something that's quick and simple that I can pick up at my local grocery store. I can get all of my components and I can make sausage pretty quickly. Now, if you looked at the previous video on making the burger, we used a hamburger, and that was, well, let's see here, that was 73% lean, which means it's 27% fat. And the package says that the total fat in that product is 30 grams. Now I went out and I tried to find the cheapest, fattiest pork sausage that I like the flavors of, and that's what I buy, and I'm going to mix that with my venison. And it says that the total fat of this sausage is 25%. But in my experience, I found that the pork fat actually produces enough grease at that ratio that it comes out about like my hamburger. My goal is to have enough grease that I don't have to add grease to the frying pan when I cook it in the cast iron frying pan, but it has enough that it cooks it up, but I don't want it swimming in grease. I just want enough to cook the meat without burning it. I can't tolerate a whole lot of grease, and that's why I prefer to make my own like this. So really, my venison is a sausage extender. Now I've done the same thing that I did with my hamburger. I've measured out 1 pound this time of venison, and I've got 1 pound of mild sausage. And I'm going to add to that a little bit of seasoning, because once you dilute this down, that seasoning is not going to be very strong. And I do this to taste, and I know that when I mix it up, I just put and sprinkle a good coating over top of it, that it almost completely covers the top of that 1 pound if I smash it out to where it covers half of the back side of my pan. I know it's not science, but we're going to give this a taste test once we mix it up, and we'll see how that comes out. Now the grinding process is the same. I'm going to pinch off some of the sausage and put that in the intake tube of the grinder, and then some of the venison that has the spice on it, and just keep alternating it back and forth until they're both used up at about the same ratio. And then we'll take that, mix it up just a little bit, make a sample patty, and see how it turns out before we go doing a large batch. So stay with me. I'll turn the grinder on, I'll run that through, and we'll come back for that test strip. Okay, got our first batch run through there. I'm going to just massage that up a little bit just to make sure I got a good mix, and reach in here, and we're going to pull out and make a nice patty, very much like what we would use for breakfast or lunch or dinner. I must admit, I like breakfast for supper every once in a while. So we'll make out a nice patty and take that over to the fry pan and see how it does. Okay, we've got our sausage patty all prepared here. We've got a good hot seasoned cast iron pan. Drop that in there. We want it to be good and hot, and let that sizzle up a little bit, and let's see how that fat turns out. Alright, let's see how we're doing. Uh-oh, we're sticking a little bit. We've got plenty of grease in the pan. I mean, the grease is running out of it. It looks like, there it goes, but it did stick a little bit. Alright, the color's looking good though. We'll let that go for just a minute and give it a taste test. Alright, well this time we didn't stick. Our color looks good. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. We definitely have enough grease in the pan. It's running down to the corner. I know that's hard to see on a black pan, but it's shiny enough. I think you'll be able to see that it's plenty of grease to cook that sausage without having to add any. So I'm pretty happy with the fat content. Let's see how it tastes. I'm going to do what you shouldn't do, and I'm going to taste it before I'm done talking. Texture's good. It's crumbly. It's not a real tight patty, but I like that. My spices are right on. They're spot on. Now I know that there's people out there like my wife that when I just added my spices the way I do, it's going to drive you nuts. But I'm telling you, I don't think you can measure this stuff up. You just have to find you a spice blend for sausage that you like, and then do a small batch, adding spices to it, and try it. Every year this stuff changes. The venison changes depending on what the animal's been grazing on. The sausage that you buy from the packing plants, it has such a large variance in it of the amount of fat and spice and all from year to year. I don't think those quality controls are there as far as being particular on how much fat and how much spice is put into those. I think they're relatively close, but it is going to have some variance to it from year to year. And if you really want to have a sausage that you like the taste of, taste it. See how it goes, and then add a little bit to it. If it's too strong, just add a little bit more of your mixture to it. Hand mix it in, pull you off another little small patty, and try it. Remember, like I said in the first video where we were grinding the burger, cleanliness is the key to the longevity of both of these. Make sure you wash and clean everything, your countertops, every piece of equipment you're going to use, everything for your freezing or your storage in it. And we'll get into storage a little bit later. But the last thing you want to do is put in all this time and money and effort into creating a product that you feel is better for you and healthier for you, and then turn around and have a lot of spoilage as you try to maintain it. So cleanliness is next to godliness. Makes for good sausage anyway. Alright guys, thanks for joining me once again for this quick video. I am Tim Langston with Red Dog Bushcraft, home of global safety and survival. Until next time, God bless.